I'm lying in this ambulance as they rush me to the hospital, and I'm thinking, this is it. This is the end. I'm about to die. It is March 29, 2017, and I've just completed a 5K competition. No, this isn't your regular 5K. In the military, we call it march and shoot. It is where you are dressed in full battle wear with weight and your boots, and you run in at the height of the day, midday sun. And at the end of this run, you participate in a live fire shoot. Now, I had done this run, this competition many times before, but this time it was different. As I walked off the shooting range, heading towards the admin area, everything seemed blurred. On reaching the admin area, I sat and I attempted to take off my boots, but I was getting difficulty to do so. The senior medic noticed and she walked across and she asked, "Sir, is everything okay?" And I said, "I don't know. I feel as if my entire body is on fire." I heard a call for assistance and they laid me on the ground. They opened my jacket and they poured ice cold water from a cooler all over my body. Now, I'm a military leader, I'm an officer, and there is something that I learned early in my military career that as a leader, you have to look your best, even if it is your worst day. So I was attempting to stay in character and maintain my composure because there were a lot of junior soldiers around. And as a leader, you want to maintain that sense of control of yourself, regardless of the situation and or what is taking place around. But with that water being poured all over me, I saw clearly for the first time, and I knew that something was taking place in my body. And I looked at her and I said, "Sergeant," with tears welling in my eyes, "please call my sister." Now, my sister is my next of kin, and I needed her to know what was taking place with me. But then everything seemed to slow all the way down, and everyone seemed to be moving in slow motion, while my brain is moving rapidly because it knows that it is in danger, because my body is shutting down. And with that, I broke character, I broke my composure, and I broke down in tears. And I said, "Sergeant, please call my sister. Please call my sister." Now, this 5K run that we call a march and shoot, many soldiers had fell ill or had to be rushed to the hospital. And there were occasions where soldiers died completing this course. The sergeant recognized that I was in extreme distress, and without even thinking or attempting to check my vitals, she got the ambulance and they loaded me immediately and they rushed me to the hospital. As I'm laying in the hospital, in the ambulance, there's a sense of calm. And I thought, this must be how it feels when you're about to die. Because I felt as if I was about to take my last breath somewhere along that ride to the hospital. Now I'm laying here in this ambulance, and there are two medics with me. But I'm feeling my strength leaving me. I tried raising my finger, but I was unable to. And I'm struggling to breathe. So they placed me on oxygen. And I had this urge to close my eyes. I'm not feeling sleepy. I wasn't feeling sleepy, but there was this urge to keep my eyes closed. One of the medics slapped me in my face and said, "Sir, keep your eyes open." The other medic said, "Sir, we are here with you. Everything is going to be okay." And now I am there in this ambulance. And then I heard one of the medics said, "He's going into cardiac arrest." And in that moment, I had an out-of-body experience. It was as if I was standing, looking at myself, laying in a casket in the earth. And there and then, I knew that I was standing on the edge, on that thin line between life and death. And I felt scared. But even more, I felt sad. I felt sad because there was so much that I wanted to do. There were so many things that I wanted to accomplish. And the person that I wanted to become, I did not have the opportunity to do so. And here I am now, about to die. And I regretted my life. I regretted not doing the things that I wanted to do. And now, my thoughts, my memories of friends and family members seem to be fading away. And I'm struggling here to breathe, even though I am on oxygen. And I came to the conclusion that this was it. And I accepted that I was about to die. I wanted my last thoughts to be something positive. So I began repeating, "God and love, God and love, God and love." But even those words started to fade away. And I'm now struggling to remember God, love, God, love. But as I kept struggling, the words seemed to come back, and it came back almost rapidly. God, love, God, love, God, love. And I kept repeating them over and over. And then my memories of my friends and my family members and their names started coming back. And I'm like, I opened my eyes. I'm like, "Guys, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm going to be all right. I'm going to be all right." And then I started speaking things. I said that I was going to change my life. I was going to settle down. I was going to do the things that I've always wanted to do. And by the time we rolled into the hospital, I was almost shouting to the top of my lungs. As they rolled me into the hospital, there was an elderly lady sitting on a wheelchair. And I looked at her and I said, "Mom, you are going to be okay. You are going to walk again." She looked at me as if I was totally crazy. There was another guy laying on one of these mobile beds. And I said, "You are going to get up. You are going to overcome that illness that you are dealing with." And I knew in hindsight that those two medics were totally embarrassed. But what they didn't understand, and the people around weren't aware of, I had come face to face with my death. I was standing on that edge and I stepped back. I had beaten death, at least on this occasion. After the doctors checked me, they checked my vitals and they placed me on drips and I was kept in the hospital for observation. But that day and that moment taught me a valuable life lesson. And I made a vow that I was never going to regret my life, that I was going to do the things that I was called to do, that I was going to become that person regardless of what it takes, so that when death shows up, and it will show up again, I would be satisfied. I would be satisfied that I had accomplished the things that I set out to accomplish. And even if I hadn't accomplished them, at least I would have been working to do so, working towards achieving them. And my life would have been one that had meaning, purpose, and fulfillment. It took me facing death, my imminent death, to realize that I needed to live a life without regret.